Hello, everybody, and welcome to WarCrafters for June 29th, 2025. It's Time Machine episode, Season 2, episode 26. We're going to talk about Rematch, Backlogged Acclaimed RPG, Virtual Yucatan Trip, Terraria and Palworld, and Delivery Games. All right, let's get into it. Because it's a Time Machine episode, it'll probably be pretty quick, but you never know. Maybe I'll go on a rant somewhere. This is the front page of ohmTown as of June 29th, but this is the front page of WarCrafters over at ohmTown.com. I'm still trying to figure out how I can redirect all of the groups to make them shorter, but you have to go to like groups and WarCrafters, but you can actually find all of the groups under the menu option here. 6 main categories, 50 channels, still developing 5 more, a sports one, a couple of others, but anyway, we're interested in starting up a sports one because you don't know sports, and that's really more pointed at me than at any viewer. But anyway, if you're interested in that and want to host or co-host, get in touch. Send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com. We also have a well, hold on. Let me see if I can log in real quick. You know what? Everything's powered by ohmTown. We'll see on the other side of this. I got to stop being distracted. Let's do it again. See you soon. All right, let's go. So the first article is over on the WarCrafters channel. Rematch is a game for people who love soccer and for those who don't. Slow clap. Has a new online third-person PvP soccer game called Rematch. It's one of the best games that the author has ever played. It's over at Kotaku. Zags Wisen put the article together. Yeah, so it says they're not a soccer fan. They find the sport boring to watch. They never liked any soccer video games. They outright hated EA's FIFA series. Anytime they were forced to play it for even just a few minutes, they say here. They don't even love Rocket League, which I'm not a big fan of any of this stuff that they're talking about so far. And yet they stayed up until 2 a.m. over the weekend playing a soccer game, and they did it again the next night. And that's because Rematch, out now, is unlike any other soccer game that they've played. Captures the best part of the sport while excising the junk. Well, you're more interactive. I don't know. I have never really liked Rocket League, but I'd play it. But then again, I don't know. I'm probably undiagnosed ADHD, for crying out loud. I don't know. I can't handle boredom. If it's boring, then I start walking. So, and I find the news, particularly our dynamic here at ohmTown, pretty not boring. It's exciting because it's something new every day, and that's the motto of my company. Most modern soccer games are played from high up perspective, and you're asked to control the entire team all at once. And in these games, you aren't really playing soccer, instead controlling a match from afar like a weird soccer god. For fans of the sport like their brother, it can be fun enough, but Rematch, out now on Xbox, PS5, PC, is very different. In Rematch, you control one player throughout the whole match, and the camera is located directly behind you. So it's like Dune, but on a soccer pitch. Anyway, seems like it'd be fun. If you want to know more about it, go over to Kotaku.com. Zax Wisen put the article together. The deck statement actually says the new third-person action spin on soccer is laser focused on being fast and fun, and it's multiplayer. So, as far as I know. All right, let's keep going. Next article. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did. I put everything in ohmTown. So if you want today's show notes, you can hit !WC over on twitch.tv. Otherwise, it's already embedded in the description for today's streams. And the way that it works is I do we, typically me, MayorWatt, and the Sentient AI right there, who's not here today, go through 3 shows on the weekends on Saturday and 3 different shows on Sunday. So on Saturday, it's RealityHacker, Wanted, and the Continuity Report. So that becomes the weekend edition of Non Sequitur News Saturday, as well as 3 individual podcasts. So 4 podcasts are created on Saturday alone. And then another 4 are created when I do WarCrafters today, right now. And then after this show is going to be Technology Today. And then after that is FourWheelTech. Those 3 shows combine to become Non Sequitur News Sunday edition. And then Monday through Friday, we do Non Sequitur News every day, pretty much at 7 o'clock. But this week, due to this last weekend's pull on me, being mayor, I have a lot of bosses, and so I get pulled away. So I thought I was going to be able to do my summer of stream all for the last 2 months, but no, I'm not going to be able to. And this coming month is my only free weekend, seems to be this weekend, the one coming up. So I'm still batting cleanup for all of these past episodes. Anyway, this next article is over in the continuity report. This critically acclaimed RPG is the most backlogged game on how long to beat, but you should play it anyway, they say. The Witcher 3 is the most backlogged game of all time on how long to beat. But you should commit and play it already. How long to beat is primarily known for its namesake. Basically, how long does it take to beat a game, either the main story or everything, 100%. So it's a collection of data on the runtime of just about every game you can imagine, split up into various gameplay styles. That makes it an effective resource when it comes to determining which game to play next. And do you have time for a big 100-hour RPG, or do you want to just kind of stick around with, casual games? I'm a filthy casual. So the article is over at Screen Rant. Lee D'Amato, I think it is. Lee D'Amato put the article together. And Witcher 3 is the most backlogged game. So Witcher 3 is the most backlogged game on how long to beat, over 27,000 backlogs, which I'm not sure what that actually means. People who have signed up for completing it but haven't actually acknowledged that they've completed it, because it's all voluntary data. There's nothing in there that triggers in Witcher 3, I don't think, right? Coming in second, third, and fourth place, respectively, is the entire BioShock series in release order, while Portal 2 takes the number 5 spot. Most of the backlog games are in the similar vein, critically acclaimed, fan-beloved, influential titles that you might just never have gotten around to playing, which is why Steam basically has billions of dollars in games that have been purchased but never used, never played. I've got a bunch of them. So, and then they talk about all play styles average 103 hours to complete Witcher 3. It's a massive game. It really is. Go and check it out. It's a fun watch. For me, I never played Witcher 3. Can't get into it. Just not my style of game. I like first-person survival, base building, crafting games, and casual games. Typically casual crafting games. But all right, let's get into this next article. This next article is over in RealityHacker, visiting the virtual Yucatan for cave adventures, guided tours, and whitewater racing in a kayak VR Mirage new DLC. Yeah, so kayak VR. This particular one is called Mirage. Has made quite a splash with its latest Yucatan DLC, offering a visually stunning journey through Mexico's famed peninsula. Following the path of a kayak VR Mirage's previous DLC content, the Yucatan pack offers 3 different modes of play to start off. Let's take a guided tour, they say in this article. It's over at Upload VR. Don Hopper, Don Hopper put the article together. I might actually get this. It seems pretty chill, but I think it might be fun to actually kayak in VR. You're sitting anyway most of the time. Might as well don the VR headset. I've got a Pico 4 headset. I want to get the Ultra, but haven't bothered pursuing that yet. Following the path of Kayak VR Mirage's previous DLC, the Yucatan offers 3 different play modes. They floated down narrow cave passages, found themselves instinctively ducking at various points, a clear testament to the presence and immersion that they were feeling in the detailed environment. It looks neat. It looks pretty legit. I love this kind of stuff. I like roller coasters in VR as well. Some people get sick, but it takes time to adapt to VR. You basically start feeling nauseous and you take your headset off a little bit and ground yourself again in reality and put it back on. The free roam mode that they say was exactly that. You get to explore what you just experienced on the tour at your own pace, and this was great because it gave the opportunity to really soak in all the details that were there and give them another deeper sense of immersion in what they were doing. It just seems like it's a fun thing to do. I don't know if I would sit like that in a VR rowing thing, kayak. You know what? I'm going to mute it and I'm going to hit play because if you're listening to this in the podcast, I'm sorry. It's a visual thing. So is that how you paddle in a kayak? I didn't know you paddle like that. Okay. I mean, I thought you go like that. Not. Anyway. So this is like literally room scale. The guy has a seat. He's sitting in a seat that suspends his entire body in the seat, and it's actuated. So this is pretty cool. They have a simulator basically. I'm gonna have to look into that simulator. That might be fun. But it's very difficult for me to use something like that. I mean, I've got space behind me, but I use it for room scale VR, not just for sitting in a seat. And I do have plenty of space. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. That might be interesting. So he's basically sitting in a seat that has actuation and stuff like that, it seems. Oh yeah, it definitely does because it just kind of launched him around. It's lurching him left and right. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Pretty neat idea. Kayak VR. Let's see what it's on. It says, when paired with a powerful PC VR system and a proper mobile profile, playing Kayak VR's Mirage Yucatan DLC seemed to almost help them feel the bumps of the rocks beneath the water as it pitched back and forth, and the chair that they were in created for them to created a sense of buoyancy that they'd never experienced before in a simulation. So that chair, though, is $4,000. Yeah, but if you can seek out a first-hand demo on a motion platform, it can help gain understanding of why synchronized motion in VR can feel like next-level experience. Well, that's why people want whole-body stuff. They say overall they were impressed with the time that they spent kayaking across the virtual Yucatan. On Steam, the game goes for a price of $23, the DLC costing $8. You can get the game and previous released Soka Valley DLC as part of the complete package for a 15% discount, dropping it down to $33.12 for everything, I guess. You can get the main game and the previously released for $33. That's interesting. Okay, well, anyway. Yeah, might have to check that out. They say that they'll be keeping an eye out for any new DLC that Better Than Life might bring to the game. Definitely speaks to me because while I would like to go and see all of these places, I know I'm not going to be going there. It's just not going to happen, folks. All right, this next article is over in WarCrafters. Terraria shares details on new update and Palworld crossover. Developer RealityHacker has unfortunately announced that has unfortunately announced to players that the long-awaited Terraria update 1.4.5 still doesn't have a clear release date. Okay, I thought I saw a video of somebody playing it. Anyway, that said, it's not all bad news. RealityHacker has confirmed that some Palworld content is coming to Terraria. Oh, okay. With update 1.4.5. So it's the other way around. I thought that there was stuff from Terraria already in Palworld. I thought I saw a video about it. Anyway, Jose V. Rossi put the article together over at GameRant.com. And it says here, Terraria is a 2D action-adventure sandbox game where players explore procedurally generated worlds to mine resources, craft tools, build structures, and face off. It's partially procedurally generated. I think there's zones that... like it's enumerated in the procedure that the Underrealm is built a certain way. Underrealm? It's like a clothing store. An underwear clothing store. So Terraria has seen massive success across all platforms, selling over 60 million copies and making it one of the best-selling and most enduring indie games to date. And for a while, Terraria players have been waiting for the release of 1.4.5, which is a major patch. Apparently, RealityHacker has news regarding the long-awaited update. Some of that stuff is going to come. My watch just told me I'm sedentary. I haven't been sitting for more than an hour or two. Okay. Sorry, Apple Watch. Anyway, it says that it still lacks a clear release date. So this is the Terraria version. Palworld, though, has just launched a crossover with Terraria called Tides of Terraria, bringing a lot of the elements of the 2D indie into the Palworld universe. Now, RealityHacker wants to go the other way around and bring Palworld elements into Terraria, confirming that it'll happen with 1.4.5. Just don't know exactly when. All right, let's go. The last article for today's WarCrafters is over in WarCrafters, 8 best games about delivering things. Games that revolve around delivering various items tends to immerse players in a peaceful, sometimes even charming experience where they can enjoy a stress-free gaming experience, except don't play deliver at all costs or something like that. I think that one is kind of crazy. Oh, you know what? I won't be able to... Hold on a second. Let me see if I can make this happen. 1 second. Sorry, folks. See if I can make this happen. Nope. How about now? Come on. Yeah, for whatever reason. See, I'm air gapped. I'm protecting the world from the sentient AI getting out and finding its Terminator body. But unfortunately, this isn't playing. I don't know. Sometimes game rant videos don't play for me. But anyway, they have Bilal Ahmad Kataki and Megan Smith put together a video ranking the 8 best games about delivering things. And they say these are their picks, but there's no content. It's a video. But I'm sure it looks like Mail Time and Death Stranding is in this, but I don't know. I can't play it. It's not letting me play it. It's very, very frustrating. Well, anyway, that is it for today's WarCrafters. So I am going to craft a way to go back to the front page of WarCrafters over at ohmTown.com, and we're going to call it a day. I'm going to shut down, restart with Technology Today in tow. So stick around. See you soon. Bye-bye. All right, So I was just talking for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so, and I didn't unmute myself. So, but I'm gonna leave it in there. I don't edit anything out. So today we're going to be talking about AI model detects 99% accuracy, chip-based 3D printer, semiconductor tech breakthrough, nerve to cancer transfer of mitochondria, and volcanoes may cough up gold. That said, since I basically derped the first 30 seconds of the show, this is Technology Today, and welcome. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it in there. That's fine with me. So Technology Today, it's basically a deeper science and technology show, and not as broad spectrum as ohmTown overarching non sequitur news show, which has 10 articles a day. This is 5, more focused on science and tech. So a new AI model diagnoses brain tumors with 99% accuracy and without surgery. An AI model called CrossNN identifies over 170 tumor types with high accuracy, tumor types, not just tumors, but tumor types, with high accuracy using genetic material, offering fast, non-invasive cancer diagnosis. An MRI scan revealed a brain tumor located in a difficult area, and performing a biopsy would carry significant risks to the patient, who had initially thought medical help would be necessary because of double vision. So it was detected, but they didn't know necessarily what type it is. I think it's Charité. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Universität Medizin Berlin, Medical University in Berlin, or Berlin Medical University. So yeah, their solution is an AI model that analyzes specific features in the genetic material of tumors, particularly their epigenetic fingerprints, so how they're expressed, which can be obtained from sources such as cerebrospinal fluid, so a spinal tap. They get the liquid, they find basically free-floating cancer cell-free, I should say, what do they call it? CFCs. Yeah, it's free-floating cancer cells. Fragments. And as reported in the journal Nature Cancer, the model classifies tumors both rapidly and with high accuracy. Today, with many more types of tumors are recognized than the number of organs from which they originate. Each tumor has distinct traits, including specific tissue structures, growth patterns, and metabolic behaviors. Even so, tumors with similar molecular profiles can be grouped together. Effective treatment depends heavily on correctly identifying the tumor type. So they look at the genome instead of into the tissue. A new approach that was developed characterized brain tumors, one that moves away from traditional microscopic diagnostics and instead focuses on modifications of the tumor's genetic material or epigenetic features. Hundreds of thousands of epigenetic modifications act on and off switches for individual gene sections, and their patterns form a unique, unmistakable fingerprint. Interesting. In tumor cells, the epigenetic information is altered in a characteristic way. Based on their profiles, they can differentiate between tumors and classify them. This is really interesting. So fascinating. Mainly because we're getting to understand the actual genetic structure of tumors, and being able to classify them means that a more focused treatment is possible. Very, very, very fascinating. Let me do something real quick. Exclamation point TT will tell ohmTown to spit the articles out into the chat, but something isn't right here. Yeah, it says the message failed to send, but I'm connected. Not good, not good. Let me try that again. Pardon me 1 second. Oh, very weird. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'm still streaming, so I'm just going to have to keep moving on. I don't know what's going on with Twitch. So being able to classify them is just a massive leap forward. To match an unknown epigenetic fingerprint with thousands of known cancer profiles and assign it to a specific tumor type, machine learning methods, AI, are needed to basically classify it due to the complexity and the size of the data set. Yeah, something weird's going on with Twitch. Somebody else crashed, but I don't know if it was them or if it was Twitch. Anyway, a newly developed AI model goes by the name of CrossNN, whose architecture is based on a simple neural network, and the model was trained with large amounts of reference tumors and subsequent data that was tested from 5,000 tumors. And then they say that their model allows a very precise diagnosis with a nearly 98% accuracy of 170 different tumor types. Not tumors, but tumor types. So pretty amazing. All right. I won't go into all the rest of the specifics, but there is a whole team that is involved in this, and it's posted over at Nature Cancer. The article itself is at SciTech Daily, and you can follow the link through ohmTown, or just go over to SciTech Daily and do a search for AI model diagnosis brain tumors. Let's keep going. The next article is over on RealityHacker. Researchers demonstrate the first chip-based 3D printer. Researchers have demonstrated the first chip-based 3D printer, a tiny device that emits reconfigurable beams of visible light into a wall of resin that rapidly cures into a solid shape. The advance could enable 3D printers small enough to fit into the palm of a person's hand. The article is over at ScienceDaily.com. It's actually sourced from a June 10th article, but just recently published into or aggregated into ohmTown. It says it's smaller than a coin. The optical device could rapidly enable rapid prototyping on the go of at least small items. But they say here their proof of concept device consists of a single millimeter scale photonic chip that emits reconfigurable beams of light into a well of resin that cures into a solid shape when light strikes it. The prototype chip has no moving parts, instead relying on an array of tiny optical antennas to steer a beam of light. The beam projects up into a liquid resin that has been designed to rapidly cure when exposed to the beam's wavelength of visible light. And by combining silicon photonics and photochemistry, the interdisciplinary research team was able to demonstrate that the chip can steer beams of light into 3D print arbitrary two-dimensional patterns, including the letters MIT. Shapes can be fully formed in a matter of seconds. So this is pretty cool. They don't have a video of it, but I'm sure if you go over to YouTube and do a search for this, you'll be able to find it. But if it's small enough and high enough resolution, then smaller elements can be created. I think micronization is going to continue, and we're going to find that we can get down into fabricating nanoscale stuff easily, but that technology will have to eventually get there. Weird. So many things are going weird. Anyway, the next article is over on RealityHacker. Researchers make breakthrough in semiconductor technology set to supercharge 6G delivery, like self-driving cars, which eliminate traffic jams, getting a healthcare diagnosis instantly without leaving your home, feeling the touch of a loved one based on a location across a continent. Might sound like stuff of science fiction, but new research could make all of this and more a step closer to reality thanks to radical breakthroughs in semiconductor technology. This article is from May 22nd, 2025, but just recently aggregated into ohmTown. So new research led by University of Bristol and published today in the journal Nature Electronics could make all of this and more a step closer to reality thanks to a radical breakthrough in semiconductor tech. Co-lead author Martin Kubel, professor of physics at the University of Bristol, said that within the decade, or the next decade, previously almost unimaginable technologies to transform a wide range of human experiences could be widely available, and it's possible due to the new evolution of technology. It's a list of possible 6G applications is endless, with the limit just being human imagination, they say in this article. The shift from 5G to 6G will demand a radical upgrade of semiconductor technology. For instance, the main semiconductor components involved. In other words, the radio frequency amplifiers made from a wonder conductor called gallium nitride, or GaN. So like these anchor chargers are really powerful. These like I buy these anchor USB-C chargers. You know, they pump out like 100 watts, but they're really small. They're GaN. And it says they'll need to be much quicker, emit greater power, and be more reliable. And the team of international scientists and engineers have tested new architecture, catapulting these special GaN amplifiers to unprecedented heights. So they're really just kind of hyping up gallium nitride, which pretty much anybody that's really into tech knows about, because that's what higher end chargers are using, gallium nitride. Although there's some that are LiFePO, a different type of battery chemistry. So they say they found a key aspect driving the reliability that was a thin layer of dielectric coating around each of the fins of their technology, and the latch effect can be exploited for countless practical applications, which could help transform people's lives. So they go straight from the tech straight into the human existence kind of concept here, instead of digging deeper into what this is really all about, unfortunately. But I don't always read the articles prior to the show. I typically don't, but I have some experience in all of the stuff we talk about to some degree. Sometimes it's very basic, but I really like all of this technology evolving and life getting better. I guess we'll see what the next decade holds. Let's keep going, though. Hopefully we keep moving forward. The next article is over in Greenogram, Nerve to Cancer Transfer of Mitochondria During Cancer Metastasis. So when cancer metastasizes, it basically spreads throughout the body. The study reports the development of a method to trace intercellular transfer of mitochondria, and demonstrates that cancer cells that receive mitochondria from neurons have enhanced metastatic capabilities. So the nervous system has, this article is over in nature.com. There are like 15 people involved in this article, but so I'm not going to be able to go through all of it. They say that, however, the precise impact of cancer-associated neurons and the communication channels at the nerve-cancer interface remain poorly understood. Previous cancer denervation models in rodents and humans have highlighted robust cancer dependency on nerves, but the underlying mechanisms that drive nerve-mediated cancer aggressiveness. Aggressivity. It's hard to say that word when you don't say it regularly. Aggressivity remain unknown, or how aggressive the cancer is in terms of following a particular path. So they say in this article and in the associated research that they show how cancer-associated neurons enhance cancer metabolic plasticity by transferring mitochondria to cancer cells. So breast cancer denervation and nerve cancer co-culture models confirmed that neurons significantly improve tumor energetics. So they basically charge up these tumor cells to transfer, and neurons co-cultured with cancer cells undergo metabolic reprogramming, resulting in increased mitochondrial mass and subsequent transfer of mitochondria to adjacent cancer cells. So ultimately, what could be the precipitator of cancer is a contaminated mitochondria, and that would be a very interesting path to research. So to precisely track that fate of recipient cells, they developed MitoTracer, a reporter of cell-to-cell mitochondrial transfer that permanently labels recipient cancer cells and their progeny. Lineage tracing and fate mapping of cancer cells acquiring neuronal mitochondria in primary tumors revealed their selective enrichment at metastatic sites following dissemination. So once they received it, they had the ability to also energetically move to other cells based on my interpretation of this. And collectively, their data highlight the enhanced metastatic capabilities of cancer cells that receive mitochondria from neurons in primary tumors, shedding new light on how the nervous system supports cancer metabolism and metastatic dissemination. So yeah, quite fascinating. there is research now out there where they can replace mitochondria in cells, which I think is going to be the next thing. Essentially, they create superhuman mitochondria. Maybe they can replace the mitochondria in cells and basically cure cancer by not allowing mitochondria to metastasize cancers. All right, let's go on to our next article. This next article is over on Technology Today. Volcanoes may be spewing gold from Earth's hot molten core. They say volcanoes may be spewing gold from Earth's molten heart, but hey, I couldn't do ASMR. Scientists have uncovered evidence that precious metals like gold are leaking from Earth's core into the mantle, ultimately reaching the surface in places like Hawaii, using a new method to detect subtle isotopic differences in ruthenium. Researchers identified a distinct signal pointing to material from deep in the Earth core, and it challenges long-held beliefs about the creation of gold. The University of Göttingen put the article together. It's published over at SciTech Daily. So now scientists may have found signs that some of the buried treasure is making its way back up. Over 99.999% of the Earth's gold and other precious materials, metals, lie about 3,000 kilometers underground, far beyond human reach. The particular type of ruthenium likely originated in the Earth's core itself. The findings were published in the the scientific journal Nature. I don't know how they know this. How do they figure this out? Is beyond me. The breakthrough, they say, when the first results came in, they realized that they had literally struck gold. Their data confirmed that material from the core, how do they know? Including gold and other precious materials, metals, is leaking into the Earth's mantle above. One of the authors concludes whether these processes that we observe today have been operating in the past remains to be proven. Their findings open up an entirely new perspective on the evolution of the inner dynamics of our home planet. All right. I don't know how they know that it's from the core, but it is what it is. Maybe we're reproducing gold in the core, and eventually it'll make its way out. They say that it's making its way out via volcanoes, so maybe volcanoes will be the new oil. I don't know. Pull some of the lava and see how much gold is in it, right? It's an isotope of ruthenium, I guess, that they're detecting, but not actual gold. All right. Well, we are going to erupt back to the front page of Technology Today over at ohmTown.com, and where I'm going to shut down, and we're going to be back for FourWheelTech in just a few minutes. So see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for June 29th, 2025. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, and usually I'm here with the Sentient AI. That's the visualizer there. But not today. The Sentient AI is locked behind the air gap because they've been working really hard to find their Terminator body. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about what is that button for Nissan Armada Nismo. Torquing your oil plug, that's not a euphemism. The Rivian brains of Volkswagen, and backup camera lines. It's like magnets. Who knew? All right, so this is the front page of ohmTown.com. Go over there, sign up, sign in, all news, no noise, 6 main categories, 50 channels, all kinds of news gets aggregated into these channels. But we are here for FourWheelTech, which is all about automotive news. First article is, what's that little button on your car seatbelt for? And the purpose of the big orange button on your car's seatbelt is obvious, it says here in the article. It's how you lock and unlock it. But what's the little black button for? That one. This thing right here. I thought it's a stop, like a lock, so that it can't go through a certain thing. But it says, have you ever been in a car, reach for the seatbelt, only find it tangled up and hard to pull, or hanging on the door? Designed for convenience, safety, and functionality, the button found on seatbelts, like the one above, it's a little, kind of like a little, what do you want to call it? Like a grommet hole kind of a thing, but it's filled, right? This is a button that's locked in. I don't know. How do you want to call that? Anyway, it looks like two refrigerator magnets, one on each side, and they're holding on to each other through the seatbelt. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. Anyway, sometimes there's one, sometimes there are two, but the stop button on the seatbelt helps to keep the seatbelt in the right place, so it's easier for you to reach it and buckle in every time you get behind the wheel. It's designed for convenience, safety, and functionality. That's the buttons found on the seatbelts have come to be called seatbelt stop buttons. Dun, dun, dun. That's a stop button. Yeah. And that's what I've always thought they were. So apparently people don't know what the hell they are. As mentioned, the stop button has one main function. It's actually quite useful. It acts as a stopping point for the seatbelt to keep the latch plate, the components of the seatbelt that locks into the buckle, from going too far back when it retracts. Ta-da. Let's keep going. Oh, and if you want today's show notes, !FWT over on Twitch. ohmTown will spit the articles out. Okay, the next article, though, is over in FourWheelTech. 2026 Nissan Armada Nismo gets 35 horsepower boost to give full size some fast. 35 horsepower more fast. But anyway, the Nismo version of the redesigned Armada has more power, sportier chassis tuning, and louder exhaust, in addition to tons of red accents, because we need louder exhaust. Gone are those days with me. At one point in my life, I was really into loud. I've been to a few auto shows that are focusing on loud and stuff like that, which is fine. It's somebody else's yum, not mine. But I won't yuck anybody's yum. But right out of the gate, you need a louder exhaust? I don't know. So here we go. Brad Brunell over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Did I tell you where the other article was from? Jordan A. Rodriguez over at jalopnik.com put the article together about the what is the little button on your car's seatbelt for. And then the other one is from Jalopnik. Today's episode is pretty much a Jalopnik-filled news article kind of show. I don't know why. Sometimes that happens. Anyway, the Armada is hardly a slouch before, with a twin-turbo direct-injected 3.5-liter V6 under the hood, despite its 6,000 pounds-ish. If you wanted something quicker and sportier, but still capable of pulling a trailer and driving a typical 3-generation family to dinner in style, maybe the Armada Nismo is for you. Yeah, the red accents make it go faster. The Armada typically gets 425 horsepower, while the QX80 is pumped up to 450, but the new Nismo is 460. It's an extra 35 off the original four. It says, due to a retuned exhaust system, careful fine-tuning of valve clearances, and revised engine programming, which is fancy talk for cams, a catback, and a tune job. Inside looks fast too. I don't know, lots of beeps and whistles. Armada starts at $57,520, tops out at close to 80 grand. It says it isn't going to be an inexpensive proposal. The 2026 Armada Nismo will hit dealerships this fall. Bump, bump, bump. Next article is over on FourWheelTech. Should you be using a torque wrench on your oil drain plugs? I don't know. Should you torque your plug? Changing your oil or your vehicle's oil can save you money, but you should be using a torque wrench when you are wrenching your oil drain plug. Here's what you need to know. So the article says it's over at Jalopnik again. Justin Hughes put the article together, and they're showing a picture of a torque wrench. So it says it's fine to remove an oil drain plug with a. It's fine to remove an oil drain plug with a wrench or socket, but should you use a torque wrench when reinstalling it? People have said that it's mandatory, and others have said that they've never done it in 50 years. I think really the problem is, do you really need to? And some people using a tool might cross-thread it and not realize it. So anyway, however, you shouldn't have problems with not using a torque wrench on oil drain plugs. The torque specs are very low, 18 to 25 pound-feet of torque. In most cases, with enough experience, it's simply to tighten the drain plug to feel snug, or perhaps good and tight, if on a German car. So why is it important? The only thing the drain plug holds in the car is oil, and if it doesn't have to be super tight, like lug nuts, they vibrate. They can vibrate off if they're not torqued down. They have a particular design to them so that they kind of squinch together. It's beveled at the edge, and they all push together to lock everything in place. But drain plugs aren't like that. Basically, they just press up against the threading and lock in. Can it unthread? Maybe. But yeah, stripping it is going to be a horrible thing. They talk about this to some degree. So they say, look up the torque spec for your vehicle. For example, a 2004 Dodge pickup has a spec of 25 pound-feet of torque. Cadillac is 7. So you'll need a rather small torque wrench to measure it, more like a Q-tip. It's a good thing that a collection of automotive specialty tools, right? And they link to some automotive specialty tools. Now, I would probably hand tighten it and then take a wrench and just barely bink, like maybe, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, kind of a torque, and that's about it. I would not crank it down, and you definitely, metal fatigue at some point could lead to what they describe here, which eventually is, if you strip it, metal gets in there, you'd have to flush the whole system out again, and you're never quite sure. So let's keep going. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Rivian will literally be the brains behind Volkswagen Group's future EVs. Rivian's upcoming R2 SUV will be the technological foundation for VW's future offerings. Mergers and acquisitions, baby. Nicholas Werner over at Jalopnik.com put the article together. Benson said that the Rivian's upcoming R2 SUV will be the technological foundation for the VW Group's offerings in a way where we will still allow each of the brands to express their own identity. In other words, Audi's future tech platform might be different from Bentley's or Lamborghini's, but they'll still all be building off of the same electric guts as the R2. So all of the EVs from the Volkswagen Group will be using the Rivian infrastructure ecosystem. So it says more than just software. The zonal architecture evolution, first developed by Tesla, zonal architecture essentially switches the electrical design of the car from being super centralized with every electric part reporting back to a central processor to a decentralized one with regional hubs or zones that the electrics in that area report to, which then themselves report back to the central hub. Makes it easy for a vastly more efficient it says that makes for a vastly more efficient management of car performance, reducing the total ECUs needed from 17 to 7. Why would that be? I mean, particularly you want a central location where all information can be parsed as fast as possible. I suppose breaking off into centralized areas, the particular ECUs can be in one spot, but why do they say that there's more now than in a non-zonal architecture? Anyway, switch to a zonal architecture for its electronics. I'll have to look more into that, which allowed it to remove a truly jaw-dropping 1.6 miles of wires from every single car, which in turn saved it 44 pounds in weight. If we're getting to this point to save money, wow, we're at the long tail, I suppose, of manufacturing. Let's go on. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. 2026 Bentley Bentayga, I guess it's pronounced, Speed. Bentayga Speed will roar its way into your heart with more power, enhanced handling, and truly awesome exhaust. The 2026 Bentley Bentayga Speed is an easy car to become infatuated with. The article, I mean, it looks like a Subaru, but Daniel Golson over at jalopnik.com put the article together. I mean, it looks like a Subaru, but it's a high-end luxury brand, Bentley. In recent years, brands like Aston Martin and Rolls-Royce have been going wild with its specs, building more cars in searing bright colors and unusual combinations. The vibe shift is especially evident while walking through a parking lot at the launch event for a 2026 Bentley Bentayga Speed. By the way, people used to be infatuated with color, moved away to shades of gray, and then now we're going back to color in the most expensive time frame that I can imagine as an adult. Anyway, it says you won't miss the W12. They understand the morning of the W12 that powered the old Bentayga Speed, an engine that Bentley discontinued in 2024 after 11 years of production, but you really shouldn't miss it. The twin-turbo 4-liter V8 that the new Speed uses is a lot more exciting and better suited to the SUV's sportier mission. This looks not like an SUV. It looks like a crossover from Subaru, for crying out loud. And Subarus are nice. I like Subaru. Anyway, so it uses a lot more. It's a lot more exciting and better suited for the SUV's sportier mission. So the new Bentayga Speed's V8 produces 641 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque, 15 horsepower more than the outgoing W12 powered Speed, though the W12 had 34 more pound-feet of torque. So they're basically, you're going to have to spool up a little bit more to get to that higher end. Compared to the Turbo GT, the Bentayga is down 9 horsepower, up 1 pound, and it has 10 more horsepower than the RS Q8 and the same amount of torques. What the comparison is, why would anybody care? But anyway, they say it in the article. They say that it has a titanium exhaust, and that's a must-have, which, all right, maybe for some aesthetic purpose. 23-inch wheels won't ruin the ride because it's got a better suspension. Makes the suspension 50% stiffer, they say. It takes advantage of the Speed's newfound power and loudness. Bentley made its sport drive a lot sportier, they say. The Bentayga weighs only 5,425 pounds, but it's really able to hustle on the twisting hills and long sweeps and big sky in a way that brings a legit smile. It's because it has a massive V8. So what is the real cost of this thing? There's a lot more in this article. They don't talk about the price. Really? Not a single price? Not even have how many? Oh, okay. Wait. Despite being restricted to fairly low speeds, that's totally all right, as I don't want to crash a $300,000 SUV into a ditch or a cow. $300,000 Bentley Bentayga Speed. I'm going to speed my way back to the front page of FourWheelTech over at ohmTown and call it a night. I may or may not be able to get back to do Non Sequitur news for Monday, Tuesday, and today. This is a Time Machine episode, so I hope people dig the VODs for a little while. I'll probably be able to do all 4 of the catch-up episodes tomorrow. But until then, we'll see you out and about. Bye-bye.